Welcome back, everyone, to another deep dive where we unpack what's moving and shaking across DeFi, sports, and the wider world of Web3.
That's right.
Yeah, ready to break it all down.
Always ready.
Okay, so let's start with DeFi because there's some really interesting stuff happening right now.
Absolutely.
Especially with certain networks making some bold moves to really integrate DeFi.
Yeah, and I think Ronin is a perfect example of this. Like, they're not just dipping their toes in, they're going all in.
Yeah, it's like they're going from 0 to 60 with this whole DeFi push.
Right, and they're not shying away from it either. Like, they're calling themselves a full consumer chain now.
Yeah, and what's interesting is they're not just limiting it to gaming anymore, right? It's this whole expansion into social dApps and really weaving DeFi throughout.
Yeah, they're really trying to create this like interconnected ecosystem where your gaming tokens and NFTs have utility beyond just the game itself.
Yeah, exactly. Like you could be earning rewards in DeFi or borrowing stablecoins against your digital assets, even maybe participating in liquid staking.
So exactly. And all powered by their Tron token, too.
Right. Like $3 is at the heart of it all, which makes sense. They want to build up that ecosystem.
Yeah, and they're not messing around. They've launched this $13 million program with alpha growth to kind of jumpstart everything.
That's a serious commitment, right? Like they're putting their money where their mouth is?
Yeah, for sure. And it's not just about throwing money at it. They're being strategic about it, using incentives and really focusing on building that liquidity.
Right. So it's like they're setting the stage for a sustainable DeFi ecosystem.
Exactly. And then you add on top of that the fact that they're going permissionless.
Yeah, that's huge.
Like, it's a total game changer because it opens the doors for any DeFi project to build on Ronin.
It's like they're saying, come one, come all, let's build this together.
Right. And you know what that means? More innovation, more choices for users, and a much deeper pool of liquidity.
So why now? Why is Ronin focusing so heavily on DeFi at this particular moment?
Well, I think it's a combination of factors, right? First off, it's all about attracting and keeping that liquidity within their ecosystem.
Yeah.
DeFi is a magnet for capital.
Right. Like everyone's looking for those sweet, sweet yields.
Exactly. And then secondly, it's about making the user experience even better, right? Like giving people the ability to earn passive income on their assets while they're also playing games and engaging with the platform.
Yeah, it's like this seamless integration of earning and entertainment.
Right. And thirdly, they're trying to bring in a whole new wave of users, people who might be initially drawn to the DeFi opportunities, but then discover all the other cool stuff happening on Ronin.
It's like they're hoping people will come for the yield and stay for the content.
Exactly.
And they've even structured their DeFi ecosystem into these 3 distinct layers to kind of cater to everyone from beginners to the more seasoned DeFi veterans.
Oh, yeah. The layered approach is smart.
Yeah. So the first layer is like the foundation, the essential building blocks, right?
Yep. Things like stablecoins like USDC and PHPC.
Right, so you've got that price stability, then you've got decentralized exchanges or DXs like Katana.
Which allow for peer-to-peer trading without a central authority.
Exactly. And of course, lending and borrowing protocols where you can put your assets to work.
Yeah, compound finance is a great example of that, which we'll dive into a little bit later.
Yeah, definitely. We'll circle back to that.
So that first layer is all about providing those essential financial tools.
Right, and then you move up to the second layer and things start to get a bit more interesting.
A little more advanced.
Yeah, you've got yield vaults, which kind of automate the process of finding the best returns on your assets.
So you don't have to be constantly monitoring everything.
Right, and then you've got looping products, which can potentially amplify those yields through strategic borrowing and lending.
It gets a bit more complex, but the potential upside is there.
Yeah, and let's not forget about liquid staking derivatives for $20 an ETH.
Oh, yeah. That's a big one because it lets you earn staking rewards while still having access to your assets.
Right. It's like having your cake and eating it too.
Exactly. And then on top of that, you've got perpetual DXs for more sophisticated trading strategies and automated liquidity management tools to keep those markets running smoothly.
It's like they're trying to cover all the bases.
Yeah, they're really trying to build out a comprehensive DeFi ecosystem.
And then we get to the third layer, and this is where things start to get really interesting for me personally, because this is where DeFi starts to merge with the gaming and those consumer-facing applications.
Yeah, it's where the lines start to blur a little bit.
Exactly. So you've got gamified DeFi, where financial elements are directly integrated into the gameplay itself.
So like earning rewards while you're playing a game.
Right, and then you've got consumer dApps like prediction markets and meme coin launch pads, which could be a lot of fun.
Yeah, definitely adds a new dimension to the whole DeFi experience.
And, of course, we can't forget about social-fi platforms like Forecast, which combine social interaction with financial incentives.
Yeah, it's like bringing those two worlds together.
And they're even exploring DeFi, which is basically using AI agents to automate trading strategies.
So you're letting the bots do the work for you.
In a way, yeah, it's all about making DeFi more accessible and engaging for everyone.
And less intimidating for newcomers.
Exactly. And what's really cool about all of this is that it's not just about earning yield in isolation.
Right. It's about creating this utility network that benefits everyone involved, from gamers to investors to developers.
Yeah, like for gamers, it could mean earning interest on their in-game assets, trading items seamlessly through programmatic swaps, using their digital collectibles as collateral to borrow other assets.
Yeah, it's like unlocking a whole new level of financial control and flexibility within these virtual worlds.
And for developers, it means having access to all these amazing composable DeFi tools that they can integrate into their games and platforms.
Right, it's like having these building blocks that they can use to create innovative game economies and reward systems.
And we're already seeing some cool examples of this, like Lumaterra's Lumi Finance, which is experimenting with all sorts of DeFi integrations in the Web3 gaming space.
Yeah, it's exciting to see these early pioneers pushing the boundaries.
And Ronin is taking a very methodical approach to this whole DeFi expansion, too. They've broken it down into 4 distinct phases.
Yeah, it's like a roadmap for success.
Right. So phase 1 is all about laying the groundwork, building that robust infrastructure.
Yep, things like reliable RPCs, accurate oracles, secure bridges for moving assets between different blockchains.
Right. The essential plumbing for a healthy DeFi ecosystem.
Exactly. You can't build a skyscraper on a shaky foundation.
So true. And then phase 2 is focused on bringing in those core DeFi primitives, those essential building blocks.
Yep, onboarding well-established, reputable protocols like, the big names in DeFi.
Right. And they're even planning liquidity bootstrapping initiatives to incentivize early participation.
Which is a smart move to get those markets moving and grooving.
Exactly. And then phase 3 is all about expanding the ecosystem, introducing new categories of DeFi applications, integrating them into the core game loops, using incentives to attract more users and capital.
It's like taking it to the next level.
Yeah. And then finally, phase 4 is all about embedding Ronin utility, making it the key asset within the Ronin virtual economy.
So it's like it's a long-term vision for Throndollars to become this integral part of the entire platform.
Exactly. And when you look at it all together, it's clear that Ronin is going all in on this vision of a comprehensive and interconnected DeFi ecosystem.
Yeah, it's not just about adding a few DeFi features here and there. It's about making it an integral part of the entire Ronin experience.
And speaking of bringing established DeFi players into the Ronin ecosystem, we also got some big news about Compound Finance.
Yeah, Compound is a big deal in the DeFi space.
Like one of the OGs.
Yeah, exactly. And they're deploying their services directly on Ronin.
Which is a huge validation for Ronin's DeFi ambitions.
For sure, it brings instant credibility and a battle-tested platform to the network.
Absolutely. And this means you'll soon be able to lend and borrow popular assets like $Withdrallers and USDC directly on the Ronin blockchain.
Yeah, it's like bringing those core DeFi functionalities to a whole new audience.
And to sweeten the deal, they're offering over $1 million in rewards in Yigo and P and Nordon tokens to incentivize early users.
Which is a pretty standard DeFi tactic, but it's always effective.
Oh, yeah. It's like a little bonus to get people excited.
Exactly. And what I find really interesting about this is that it's Compound's first deployment on a blockchain that's not like a primary layer 1.
Yeah, that's significant.
It's a sign that DeFi is moving towards a more multi-chain future.
Right, like it's not just going to be all about Ethereum anymore.
Exactly. And it makes sense for protocols like Compound to expand their reach and tap into new markets.
Yeah, and Ronin, with its focus on gaming, is a great choice for them.
It's a natural fit.
All right, let's shift gears now and talk about Bitcoin because we've seen its price take a bit of a dip lately, falling below that $85,000 mark.
Yeah, the crypto market never sleeps.
That's for sure. And it seems like the main culprit behind this dip is those pesky inflation fears.
Yeah, inflation is still a big concern for investors.
And when investors get nervous, they tend to sell off riskier assets like Bitcoin.
Which is understandable, even though some argue that Bitcoin should act as a hedge against inflation in the long run.
Right. But in the short term, it often trades more like a risk asset.
Exactly. And it's not just Bitcoin that's feeling the heat. The broader crypto market has also experienced a downturn.
Yeah, it seems like everyone's a bit jittery about the state of the economy.
But those macroeconomic factors definitely have a big influence on the crypto market.
They do, and it's a good reminder that while DeFi and crypto are pushing the boundaries of innovation, they're still susceptible to those external forces.
Yeah, it's all interconnected.
Okay, enough about the financial markets. Let's dive into the world of sports, where there's also some interesting stuff happening.
All right, let's go.
Starting with the one and only Deion Sanders.
Prime time.
Yeah, he just signed a 5-year contract extension with the University of Colorado for a cool $54 million.
That's a lot of faith in Coach Prime.
It is, and he's definitely earned it. He's turned the program around and brought in some top-notch recruits.
Yeah, it's been pretty remarkable to see the impact he's had in such a short amount of time.
And it's not just about the wins and losses. He brings this whole level of excitement and attention to the program.
Yeah, the Prime effect is real.
He's a magnet for attention, and
Oh,
that
yeah.
can translate into all sorts of benefits for the university.
For sure. Increased visibility, more fans, more donations. It's a win-win.
Speaking of winning, the NFL is making a big push to promote flag football.
And I think that's a smart move.
Yeah, especially with flag football being included in the 2028 Olympic Games in Los Angeles.
That's a huge platform to showcase the sport to a global audience.
Exactly. And they're not wasting any time. They had this high-profile panel discussion with some big names like Caitlin Clark, Serena Williams, Eli Manning, and Melody Hobson to talk about the future of flag football.
Yeah, they're really bringing in the heavy hitters.
And it's not just about promoting the sport to men either. They're really emphasizing the growth of women's sport.
Which is fantastic, because flag football is a great sport for everyone.
It is, and the NFL's goal seems to be to really elevate the sport's profile, encourage more young people to participate, and maybe even lay the groundwork for a professional flag football league.
Yeah, it's a long-term investment in the future of the sport.
And it's not just talk either. Even NFL stars like Patrick Mahomes have expressed interest in playing for Team USA in the Olympics.
That's huge, to have that kind of support from top-tier athletes.
It really shows that they believe in the potential of flag football.
And it adds a whole new level of excitement to the 2028 Olympics.
Yeah, I can't wait to see it.
Me either.
So it seems like flag football is on the verge of a major breakout moment.
With the NFL's backing and the Olympics as a global stage, it's got all the ingredients for success.
All right, that wraps up our deep dive for today. We covered a lot of ground, from Ronin's DeFi ambitions to Bitcoin's price fluctuations to the rise of flag football.
Yeah, it was a whirlwind tour of the Web3 world.
It was, but hopefully we've given you some food for thought and a better understanding of what's driving these changes.
Absolutely. Knowledge is power.
It is. And with that in mind, here's one final thought for you to ponder. As DeFi continues to become more integrated into our digital lives, what new forms of value creation and digital ownership might emerge that we haven't even begun to imagine?
That's a great question to leave our listeners with.
It is. Until next time,
Stay curious.
and keep exploring.